need change. So it's grimoire now. Because I fuck with that. I think that's better. I think we're on something here. Besides the point, we're playing Planet Zoo today. I have a special place in my heart for this game. I've played it for, I think, a couple of years now. And anyone who knows me knows I want to be a zookeeper one day. So this is my way of living out that little dream, just for now, until I can actually live it. I have all the packs, barring, ironically, the zookeeper pack. And I haven't played in a little while, because I've been on a bit of a medieval binge. Whoops. That being said, I'm not going to delete this starting entrance. I'm just going to build off of it for now, because what I tend to do is build like a really shoddy starter to get a little bit more money, and then go back and redo the whole starting entrance and the whole staff area and all the exhibits I place. So we're going to put down, first and foremost, some exhibits. I have a ton of blueprints from the Steam Workshop. We're not going to use those. Not yet. Let's see if I can align this to the grid. No, of course not. Why would that ever be the case? That would be too simple and too easy. I, admittedly, even though I've played this game for so long, I still don't know everything about how it works. And I will say that the path system in this game is notoriously bad. So that's actually not me. If you see me fiddling about with the path, it's truly not a skill issue, it's a game issue. We're going to build out over here a little bit to put some staff facilities down. Reason being is, if I show you impact on guests, this little red circle shows how the radius is for how bad the impact will be on the guests. They don't like to see staff buildings for some reason. They don't like to know that the animals they're looking at are taken care of by people. So they get really cranky if they see these and they give you like a really annoying notification like this that won't go away. You can get rid of it, but every time someone walks in that radius, they get upset. I'm not going to add a quarantine because I admittedly don't quarantine my animals. You're supposed to, but I don't really end up needing to. It's kind of a waste of time. There's not too much that can go wrong if you don't. I don't need a research centre right now. I don't need a workshop, and I don't need a vet surgery. Let me just check that this is still... It looks like there's a little bit of black on we can demolish all of this and make something a bit cuter. So what goes in here is little bugs, little fish, like frogs, stuff like that. Things that wouldn't need a full habitat, like swans, aardvarks, all these things. Actual animals you'd expect in a zoo, basically. And the reason we do this, all of this, is because these guys breed really quickly. They make a ton of babies, and they make them quick enough that you can just sell them off. You don't really need to keep them at all. They bring some guests into the zoo, not many, because they are just exhibit animals. That's what this is. That is appeal. That's literally how appealing the animals are to the guests. The higher appeal they have, the more the guests go to them, and the more guests it brings into the zoo. There's like actual mechanics to it. I don't know the specifics. But if you go to a zoo and there's sheep and there's bear, you're gonna go past the sheep to get to the bear. That's kind of the reason that there's the appeal. But that does mean you're supposed to pay a bit more attention to the layout of your zoo, so you don't have all the high appeal animals in one area and all the low appeal animals in another. And then everyone just walks past all the low appeal animals and they don't get any donations, and they're just expensive to have at that point. That's, I think, kind of what they were going for. But I admit, I don't pay that much attention to the appeal. This is a franchise zoo, I forgot to mention, which means it's like a career zoo basically. You can run out of money, you can go bankrupt, you can take out loans and stuff like that. It's not a sandbox, and you have to research everything. You can have animals and you can have exhibit creatures without researching them, but if you don't research them you don't get these little enrichment things. And the reason you want these enrichment things, you'll see, is because it raises their welfare and it raises their exhibit, and you can get protesters in this game, unfortunately. So I don't know what that actually does for like your donations and stuff, but I know it's not good. I think I have these unlocked as well, yeah. So with the franchises, you basically like own a chain of zoos. As you can tell, I have owned many zoos before. These are conservation credits. This doesn't transfer across zoos at all. This is what you get for your zoo, and you can't move them between franchise zoos. This is for your entire franchise, all your franchise zoos. And you get these mainly for selling high value animals on the market. So if I show you, or I can't, there we go. These are all animals from other people's franchise zoos, barring the Frontier Zoo animals. Those are the games, like the animals they pump out into the market to control things. But like this is someone's zoo, and I can't find any more now that I've said that. But anything that's these are what people sell 𝖊𝖚𝖚𝖚𝖊𝖘s for, and it's the same with a bunch of other animals, like the West African lion is a particularly bad one. This is, again, regular lions. These are actually really cheap. These two, and this one up here, they tend to be like 5,000 odd. Regular lions sell for 500 to 1,000, and then the leucistic ones are much more expensive. I don't know if there'll be any, but red foxes have melanistic, yeah. These have melanistics. And I think half melanistic colour variations, and they just sell for more. People sell them for more because people want them more. And that's how I got so many conservation credits. If I go into my animal storage, this is all the animals that are from all my zoos. These are the ones that I have stuck in the Animal Trade Centre, and you can see I've got a bunch of colour variations in here, but we're not going to be using any of these because I do not want to give myself that much of a head start unless they are not from one of my zoos. This is not from my zoo, and I think there was another one that was from my zoo. This one. They also have genetic traits like size, longevity, fertility, and immunity. Size and longevity don't really matter that much as far as I've been able to tell. Fertility is the most important one because that's how often they're going to breed, that's how many babies they're going to give you. And immunity is relatively important because if anything breaks out in your zoo disease-wise, that's kind of what's going to determine if they make it through or not. Obviously they're not going to make you any money if they die, expenses, ongoing expenses. We can see how expensive staff wages are. Facility running costs just covers all of this stuff. And education boards and stuff like that. The cash flow looks really bad right now is because we spent so much money on setting everything up. As you can see in purchases, it's all going to come back eventually. The animal transfer costs were from when we actually bought the animals. We don't pay any taxes just yet because we don't have much here. When you start placing down habitats, you have to be kind of careful about how big you make them because you can very quickly rack up a ton of habitat area tax. And you'd be surprised by how little space the animals in this game actually need. That being said, water doesn't count as traversable area. Obviously, unless they can swim, but even if they can swim, it counts as a different type of area that they have a different requirement for. Like, trying to think of an animal that goes in the water, that needs the water. These guys, they have 100 meters squared, 100 square meter land requirement, but they also need 55 meters of water. So even if you have rivers in the habitat, that takes away some of the land that is in the habitat. And if you have trees or bushes or rocks, like buildings and stuff like that, that doesn't count as traversable terrain. So that comes off the land requirement as well. My general rule of thumb is their requirement for 2 breeding adults and usually like 4 juveniles unless it's like a fox, in which case I'll go up to 6 or 7, something that has like a ton of offspring in one go. I'll do that times 2 to make any room for trees and rivers and stuff like that. Some of them I'm a bit more liberal with. Like, what we're going to do is we're going to put down red deer and European fallow deer and some mute swans in one habitat because they have interspecies enrichment. Now, I don't care for the actual enrichment bonus, but you can have these guys essentially in the same habitat. That's what it means. And they won't fight, they won't kill each other. So that means you can have a habitat that's just about big enough for all of them, plus any potential offspring, and you don't have to have separate habitats, and you can have donation bins and education boards for all 3, and it treats it essentially as if you had 3 different habitats for all of them. But you don't, and you don't pay so much for decoration and stuff like that. So I do have animal aging on 2.5 just because I get sentimental about some of my animals and I feel bad when they die. And one of the axolotls just had babies, so we're going to sell them. You can see how this is a really good source of money in the early game. I don't know what the recommended first animals are, but I know very well that you don't want it to be anything like a bear or a jaguar or anything carnivorous, essentially. Big and carnivorous at least, because they cost a ton of money in food. They cost, it's like 3,000, 5,000 per feeding, and they need regular feeding. So it gets really expensive really quickly, as compared to deer, which is maybe like 1,000 per feeding or less. You pay more for better quality food, but you can get away with having worse quality food. Just in general, especially early game. And you do have inspectors that come in and check over your zoo. it's, I think, Rivers and Mountains Sevens. I don't remember where I got it from, but it's, you can't see it now, but it essentially means that instead of just being flat, it's got this little divot and it's got these mountains for me to build off of, which I like. I like to have very pretty habitats, very unrealistic habitats. So having rivers and mountains and stuff like that is a very easy way to do that. I think we can probably get started at least with building our first habitat, but I've got to think about where I want it to be and how I want it to look. I think what we're going to do is up this path size, build out a little bit to get it out of the way of this stuff. I'm just going to build one big path, and then I can make a little path through here, maybe a little bit bigger than that. Yeah, like that. There is no rhyme or reason for this. I know some people like to plan out their zoos. I am not one of those people. I don't have it in me to do that. I want square edges, so let's turn that back on. How should we do this? One of my favourite packs is the Twilight pack, which adds a bunch of like Halloween-y stuff, which I really, really love. So the chances are I'll do something themed off of that. And I want to have a little viewing platform as well. I'm actually going to turn the opening hours down. This makes the days shorter and it means you don't see the night basically. I think we can probably do something like this, and then have like a little round, not entrance, but like dip into the habitat. I should actually probably check the requirements first, shouldn't I? So do adult red deer, we'll say 4 juveniles, okay, 500 odd meters. I would expect it to be relatively the same. I think that's probably the most it's going to go up to, and these guys need some water as well, which is fair. So we're going to go for about 1,000 for this habitat. We are going to do this. This is a null barrier. As you can see, you can have like styled barriers that have proper meshes, but you can also use a null barrier to tell the game where you want the outside to be, and then you can put your own barriers. You can make your own ones with the stuff in the game. If we go across like this, where is the edge of the map? I can't see it. And then got angle snap on, so if we turn that off and then back on, and then once again turn it off and back on. Move this here. We're just going to go around the whole perimeter of the habitat, and then we're going to put down a habitat gate so we can see how big it is. suppose we can probably just extend this in even more. Make the pond even bigger, because the deer can go into shallow water, and I think they can swim as well. I've seen them swim. I'm going to extend it out a little bit more. I have definitely seen the deer in this game swimming, but I don't think they can swim in deep water, which is kind of this level. But this should be completely fine. It's just like a shallow pond, really. That still doesn't feel like much, but we will check. We can always check. Oops. We're gonna set it so that it doesn't matter where it dips into the water, it stays at the same height. That's what we want. And then we will put this down and have a check again, because this is going to have to be blocked off. This is not going to count as traversable area. That should cover it just fine. I don't know if we should leave the habitat gate. I can imagine we can. We can probably build it into a shelter here, actually. So that is fine as it is. So what we're going to do now is we're going to build a little barrier, or even better, we're going to pick someone else's to put in. I think we should probably keep a couple of these for when the rest die. So they are not going to be walking pretty much around any of this. They'll be able to get up here, they won't be able to get up here. And if I sink this a little bit lower, there we go. But that will lop off a bunch of available land off of here. Never mind. Never mind, ignore me. I do know what I'm on about. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty. But that's to be against something. What is this? Oh. My game isn't usually this laggy, but I have Kingdom Come Deliverance downloading in the background. So it's gonna take a minute, I think, to load some things. We're just gonna have to work with it. I am very excited to play. But it's a reasonably sized game. That's really cool actually. I kinda wish I'd placed that first. It's a reasonably sized game. It's about 80 gigabytes, so it's gonna take a little while. She's gonna take a while. Where is that stone pack we saw first? This one. I think we'll go with this one. We're gonna very quickly save, because I remember this game is horrendous, evil, terrible for crashing. We're gonna pick one of these out, and yeah, one of these. Whoops. I don't think we'll need these. And then we're just gonna lower this into the ground to about the right height. Okay. So it's the fourth set of blocks. Anything below that to save money, we are going to delete. Anything below the fourth set of blocks. Hopefully these are recolorable. What? What's wrong with you? What do you want? These walls, we can probably switch out for shorter ones. Is it going to be a pain in the ass? Is that what it's trying to tell me? Oh no. Oh no, it's just fine. Are these recolorable? Yes, they are. We actually don't need this bottom set either. So we can delete those. Move this down, is that right? Yeah, that's the right height. That is just fine. And then we'll split this and recolor these to be, let's have a look. Can we go any darker? I can't see. Oh, that's too dark. I still can't see. Yeah, I think that's cute. Again, we're gonna recolor these top ones. don't see these bricks curving too great. That's my concern. I don't know how long these are. Actually, we can probably get away with that, I think. Let's copy this one instead. And then split the group again. This is some real mastery, if you ask me. And then stupid. There we go. I'm gonna speed it up because it's winding me up how long it takes to stop snowing. We're also missing some bricks at the front, but that's okay. And we'll turn it like this. And pull it out. And again. There. asides from that, he's happy with it. He's happy with the size. It looks like. Yes. Okay, that's fine then. We're just gonna pause quickly because the guests are coming and we don't have any donation pins or anything educational at all. We will put. What else should we put? Arrowwood. I do like the arrowwood. So we'll put a bunch of that down. get surgery.